Welcome DJ to DHL team behind the team. What is data performance manager? Set us a framework for what your profession does.
Firstly, thank you for having me on the show. I think that this whole data and performance is evolved in sport over a period of time. So the role basically encapsulates everything that happens in a sporting organization. Tracking of our own players over a period of time, what they do in domestic cricket, what they're doing in different tournaments and so on. Scouting the opposition, which is probably one of the most important in-tournament stuff that happens. I've been blessed with a great team as well, so making sure that we have all these things packaged in a way where it is palatable in a lot of ways and digestible by practitioners, that not just our coaches or players, it's the sports science department, it's the medical department, it's the scouting department. So basically trying to work with everyone to make sure that the insights and information that is needed for them to make some great decisions are there with them all the time. So.
But how did you manage to get this culture in the MI system? Because everybody claims to use data, right? And as you rightly said, there is a recruitment, there is auction, there is player specific data, there is opposition data, there's internal data, and then there's the external data. But at the end of the day, this framework and this data bank that you have and the culture, tell us something about that.
I think that it's interesting that you use the word culture, and I think culture precedes everything, right? Yeah. Whether you say analytics or you talk about anything in an organization, I think culture precedes that, and I think MI as a franchisee have been in the forefront in terms of how big they are in terms of culture, and that's kind of imbibed into every one of us who try to add value here on a daily basis. So I think data as a culture itself is something that I've evangelized over a period of
Nice.
time, and I think we've been blessed enough to have a great set of ownership, right from Neetha Babi to now Akash. They propagate the fact that this culture is important. It drives from the top in a lot of ways, and we are able to kind of execute this and put this in practice, internally amongst not just the staff or the players, but also the larger ecosystem.
What is the prep for this?
Again, you're using a word that is, of course, whether it's mainstream or sport, I think preparation for anything.
I'm sounding so knowledgeable.
No, I think preparation is the key foundation for, let's say at least giving yourself the best chance of success. So I think that in sport, especially in cricket, there is a lot of focus on preparation, and one of the, I would say that one of the key elements of preparing for a tournament or a game becomes more important than anything else. So I think that, like I said, from a culture standpoint, your coaches need to buy into it.
Yeah.
It needs to drive from the top, and that's kind of what we've been able to achieve so far. So preparation wise, whether it is the head coach or the batting coach or the bowling coach, we have certain processes in place that kind of helps us, whether we win or we lose, the routines keep going on, and that's how we put preparation in the forefront of not the result or the outcome. Yes, of course, we are all working towards outcomes, but I think that if we are prepared enough and something didn't happen on the field, that's a different metric for us to do. But are we prepared enough is the biggest challenge that we are presented with to make sure the players are well prepared going into a game. So I work very closely with the coaching staff and the rest of the practitioners to make sure that we have everything. We leave
the ammunition ready.
Yeah, the ammunition, we leave no stone unturned. We're preparing well for the exam, however you want to define it. But the point is to go through these things in a very simple but also an elegant way, where I think that more than data and all this information that's available, it's very important that it's interpreted and also served in a very nice way. So
I think elegant is a beautiful word for data. Nobody would have used it. But let's come to the outcome, because as a fan, I want to hear stories about how it is actually used. Give me an example that you gave a piece of data and that helped bowler along with the bowling coach, as in a meeting, get better and better.
So I'll unbox this in two parts, right? So the first part is the fact that how much does the coach actually want information to prepare for, let's say, an opposition. Let's say we are playing some opposition tomorrow. The general chats would be that what are the trends that the opposition comes in terms of either a batsman's shot making ability, where their weak areas are, how do we kind of develop a game plan that can force them to take a higher risk option. So things that are discussed are those, and then that's built into a plan where seeing is believing, right? So cricketers are run away from graphs and pie charts and bar graphs. So how do we actually sell that? And that's where the partnership develops in terms of how do we kind of sell the story in terms of, we want you to execute this, are you in with this plan? And when the magic actually happens on the ground, it is a testimony to your preparation in a lot of ways. We work very hard towards trying to build general plans, and that potentially with the creativity of the player can really take it to the next level. So I'll give you an example of it took us 3 years to convince Malinga to come around the wicket with his angle, and that proved to be a game changer in that phase of the tournament. So it's those 1%ers that makes it 100, right? So we are always looking for those 1%ers where it lies, because we're dealing with high performers with high skills, and you don't need to tell them what to do, but if you can enhance or augment their cricketing intelligence, that is where data becomes that much more important, where it is an augmenting factor and not like, this is what the data says, you have to go and do this. It never happens like that. There is the human element. If people are talking AI and all those things, I think that the human intelligence, the cricketing intelligence of the player, data just augments it. It strengthens their, like you rightly pointed out, you use the word instincts, right? It strengthens the instinct to go and actually confidently do something.
Tell me, what is the best use case of AI in sport, and how do you see this happening?
So firstly, I will rephrase the word artificial to augmented intelligence. That's how I believe that augmented intelligence can actually take the sport to the next level of productivity. So now how is this going to help players or coaches or administrators? Yes, the use cases is wide enough, but I think if you really narrow it down and put a tunnel focus into it, we are trying to, obviously we've got an amazing team, an AI team that is working on futuristic things a lot of ways, and we are trying to not just simulate things that before that they can happen. So I think the focus is more on getting more automated data points that can help you connect more relationships. So what I mean to say is that so we're working on things where even we are able to understand automated sleep patterns of athletes that is directly relational to on-field performance. And everything is like a stage-by-stage process. So if I am able to get an alarm that someone's not ready for a game, now that gives me a chance to get somebody else.
Oh wow!
It is going in that direction for sure. Not that it's being practiced, but it is going in that direction. We're working on some really cool but very, very focused futuristic stuff that could give us that edge going forward in the next few years.
This is truly amazing, because this is probably the best example of team behind a team, that here is an omnipresent system which is part of a culture which feeds in information all the time. Not only feeds in information, gives analysis, puts it to the right pipeline, and then therefore at the end of the day results and outcomes will automatically happen. One request to you, DJ, before we end, you've got to make this legacy a little bigger and hopefully train a whole lot of engineers and data scientists to get into our business of sport, and that is something which will be amazing, because it's a great alternative profession.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity as well. Nice speaking to you. Always love to have a conversation.
Cheers.
Right. Cheers.